Oh, the friar's got a plan. He's got a plan. He's got a plan. He's got a plan. It's a good thing. I mean, it's not a great plan. Maybe it's a great plan. Maybe it's a brilliant plan, but it's the only plan, really, Juliet has, unless she takes matters into her own hands. Because her mother and her father have said, well, we'll disown you. Actually, we're going to throw you out of the house if you don't marry Paris. So, and then she turns to her nurse, and her nurse is like, yeah, you should probably marry Paris. Probably a good idea. Romeo's a dishcloth compared to Paris. I think you're going to be happy in this second match. That's coming from a woman who helped arrange the first match to Romeo. So when Juliet goes to the friar looking for the friar's help, like, how am I going to get out of this? This is bad. She threatens her own life. She's like, that's the way out of it that I've got. What do you got, friar? And the friar is like, well, if you're willing to go to such an extreme, then maybe you'd be willing to take it down just a notch and pretend you're dead. How about that? And she's like, tell me more. Anyway, so the friar does tell her more, and he's like, look, you're going to drink this potion. Here's what's going to happen. It's going to decrease your pulse. It's going to significantly change the physiological elements of your body. Like, you're going to get cold, your breath will slow, your lips and your cheeks are going to lose their color, so they'll look pale. Body will become stiff. It's not going to look like you're breathing. People are going to think you're dead. It's going to look like you're dead. In fact, he kind of suggests that the effects are going to last for 2 and 40 hours. Nobody talks that way. It doesn't even seem like a number. It sounds like Lincoln. 4-7. No. So 42 hours is about the length this potion supposedly will work. And in the meantime, before you wake, Romeo, who I'm going to write some letters to, is going to know the way we're drifting, what direction we're heading, what the plan is. And then here's what's going to happen once he gets these letters. He and I, we are going to watch you wake, where he will then take you to Mantua, where you and him can live peacefully, blissfully, in love. How's that sound? And she's like, okay, let's do it. That's the plan. Now, in this next section, well, first of all, it looks like, I forgot to tell you this, that Friar Lawrence sends his buddy Friar John on an errand to Romeo and Mantua. Like, Friar John is going to deliver these letters that Friar Lawrence wrote, because Friar Lawrence is going to be busy. He's probably going to be the one overseeing Juliet's funeral. He can't be missing the next morning anyway. He's performing the marriage ceremony. So he sends Friar John to deliver these letters to Romeo and Mantua. Anyway, part of the plan is that Juliet go home and she'd be happy about this idea of marrying Paris. That's the whole thing. In fact, the friar lays that out. He's like, look, you got to pretend like you're cool with marrying Paris. Otherwise, your parents are going to think something's up. So that's exactly what Juliet does. And her father is so happy about Juliet's change of heart that he's like, well, let's just move the wedding up a single day. Instead of marrying Paris on Thursday, Juliet's now going to marry him on Wednesday, and that's tomorrow. So things are speeding up a little bit. So Juliet persuades her nurse and her mother, who are, I don't say they're bothering her that night, but tomorrow's her wedding day. And they're probably up talking excitedly about it. And she convinces them, like, look, with this also sudden business, I'm sure you have so many things to take care of. Why don't you leave me alone tonight? I'll be fine. I'm sure she would. I mean, she's 13. She can fall asleep on her own. But they leave her. And she says this really cryptic thing to them. She says, "Farewell. God knows when we shall meet again." When will they meet again? The next time she wakes up, she'll be in the Capulet tomb with the friar and with Romeo, who will then scoot her off to Mantua. When will she see her mother again? It also feels like foreshadowing, because if you know the way the play turns out, then you know it doesn't turn out well for Juliet. When will she see her mom or her nurse again? Anyway, it's about this text that the rest of this assignment is all about. And in fact, let me show you where we're going from here. Schoology, Schoology, Schoology. Here it is. I got a little lag on the camera, so hopefully it doesn't look silly. Got to refresh this. Down here at the bottom, down at the bottom. Oh, the internet's slow. No way. Oh, I gotta click a button over here. Sorry. Just need to publish something so that you can see it over here. It's just gonna make this video longer. I apologize. I'll refresh them both at the same time. I got two tabs open. I don't know if you saw that or not. Here we go. So down here at the bottom, this is eventually where you will go, and this is the Juliet's Potion Concerns Close Reading Challenge. So it's a bit of an assessment. It's got fill in the blank, but mostly it has short answer responses, all centered on this particular text right here. And the reason why it's so important is because, well, by the time nurse and mom leave Juliet alone, she starts to do some thinking on her own, and one might call it, cold feet. Like, I'm going to drink this potion? I'm supposed to be asleep for 42 hours? When I wake up, I'm going to be buried alive? Not like in the ground, but in a tomb. So she starts thinking to herself, like, this just doesn't sound as appealing as it once did. So she does. She gets cold feet. And that's your job, is like, what are her concerns? What are they? Can you summarize them? That'd be summarizing them both by, making some marks in the text, making some marks in the margin. So for instance, Juliet says, "Farewell. God knows when we shall meet again." And then this faint cold fear that she has thrills through her veins. It almost freezes up the heat of life. Cold feet, so to speak. She says, "I'll call them back again to comfort me. Nurse. Oh, nurse. What should she do here?" She forgets. She says, "My dismal scene, I needs must act alone." And then she talks to the vial, just letting the audience know that there's a vial. She's got this tiny little vial filled with this potion on stage with her. And then her first concern, here it is. She says, "What if this mixture do not work at all? Like, what if it doesn't work?" What if it doesn't work? Then she thinks, well, if it doesn't work, am I going to be married then tomorrow morning? Gulp. Anyway, all throughout this section in the packet, that's your job. What are the concerns that she voices? Now, not everybody has their packet. I understand that. So if you do have your packet, it's going to make this job a lot easier. If you don't have your packet, I don't know, you can pause the video so that you can read it and maybe even write parts of it down on a separate sheet of paper. I mean, there are ways around it if you're creative enough. Who's the most independent learner out there? You. That's who it is. So you can figure out ways to tackle this. Oh, once you get back into Schoology, though, there are other ways as well. And for those of you who have a printer at your house, you can print out certain pages. If not, again, no big deal. I don't even have any paper at my house to do any printing. I have a printer with no paper. Seems like ridiculous. But that's the way it is right now. So in the Romeo and Juliet folder where the materials are, we have another place where you can read that text. It's right here. It's the Juliet and Her Potion Concerns text and writing task. And it's the same exact text that you just saw in the packet. Juliet says, "Farewell. God knows when we shall meet again." And then it goes all the way through. It's the same text. So this is another place where you can do some reading and some thinking. And in fact, if you don't have your packet, the next step, this is perfect for you. So I'm going to open up, this is my other tab. Down at the bottom here in the folder again is the Juliet and Her Potion Concerns audio. And this is just a companion. If you start this audio at 48, I believe, let's see. Somewhere around 48. You hear that? That's the sound of the door closing because her mom and her nurse are leaving. That's at 47. I bet you the next word she says is farewell. I messed it up.
Farewell. God knows when we shall meet again.
There it is.
I have a faint, cold fear thrills through my veins. It almost freezes up the heat of life.
She's literally cold. She's figuratively getting cold feet. Anyway, you can see that the video is about, I don't know. This audio, sorry. The audio is only about like 3.5 minutes or so. And it'll give you a chance to not only read and listen to, but you can read and listen to it several times. The job is you to be able to summarize what her concerns are. So those are resources that you can use. Once you are done reading and listening to that section a few times, remember that here's the next task. It's the close reading challenge where you're being asked to answer some questions, and it looks like I'm going to resume an attempt. It's just something I had tried before just because looks like you can... Oh, perfect. So number 1, I'm just going to show you how this would work. It says, here's the whole thing, by the way. Number 5 is fill in the blank. Number 6 is fill in the blank. Number 8 is fill in the blank. And then number 10 is fill in the blank. But all the rest of them, all the way through number 12, they are short answer. So in this first one, it says reread lines 14 through 18. Juliet's use of the word them in line 17 suggests that line 14 is directed at which characters. So here's the text if you don't have your packet with you, of course. 14 through 18. She says farewell. Farewell, God knows when we shall meet again. I have a faint cold fear, it thrills through my veins. It almost freezes up the heat of life. And then 18, this is what you're being asked about. I'll call them back again. What's line 17? I'll call them back again to comfort me. So the question is, line 17, the use of the word them means that she's talking at which characters? And she just told her nurse and her mom. Now, as you can see, this is not a complete sentence. It is a complete answer, though, because it's 100% correct. She's talking to her nurse and her mom. Then you move on to number 2, 3, 4, all the way through 12. So that's the way the close reading challenge goes. These are the resources that you have. You've got the Juliet's Potion Concerns text. You've also got the Juliet's Potion Concerns audio. And you have your packet. And this video is getting long, so take the challenge, do the readings, listen to the audio, take the challenge, and I don't know. It's written in English. You'll be fine. So good luck.